All right, everyone. If you guys watched my last video, you know that yep, I know, I gotta build a city station. I spent a lot of time talking, so this time I just kind of restarted the scenario, the challenge over again. Um, so I go back to January. So the first thing I'm gonna do, I like to set up, I like to use these train stations with signaling control. I know they cost a little bit more money, but I feel like in the long run, they're much more worth it. I'm going to set up a city here in Charlotte. And then, because the reason I like the, let's see, should we go that way? Actually, we're going to go up here. The reason I like it is because in the long run, of course it's going to go right through that thing. I like the fact that they control the traffic going in and out of the stations. Build my double tracks here. Get out of here. Build my signals. I like to always use double tracks. It makes it so much easier. So I just built my two cities. Now that I have the two stations and double tracks, I'll go ahead and throw a couple of trains between the two. So Washington to Charlotte. I'm going to make that passenger and mail only. Then I'm going to add another train. Same thing, but just reverse direction. Make that passenger and mail only. All right. I usually don't. What I'm trying to do now is I'm actually just trying to build stations across the country so I can get San Francisco hooked up as soon as possible. That way I can start a passenger line between Washington and San Francisco, because as you know, on my previous video I told you that's the biggest challenge. If I look at all the challenges for this challenge, that's my biggest hurdle, is getting those. Let's see. I think hooking up to Nashville is probably my best bet. I like going through Nashville, so I try to get the line set up as quickly as I can, and I just set up a bunch of passenger lines. Let's see. Let's go around this sugar. Now I'll do the same thing. I'll set up some trains, and I'll make it a passenger, because the passenger trains will actually generate a considerable amount of money, and early on I need to generate money so that I can keep building stations across the country. I'm going to go ahead and oops, sorry about that. I'm going to go ahead and construct all of my maintenance buildings. Since they're free, I like to go ahead and take advantage of that. That's one of the reasons I like to choose the engineer as the character, because it's got free maintenance buildings. Once I get some extra money, I'll throw in supply towers as well, so they can get water and sand. I don't do that early on just because it's a little more, money's a little more tight. Now, like I did say, after a while, I have tons of money, so it's easy enough to kind of throw those in. Now this one, I have to go through the mountains. It does make it a little more difficult, so let's see if I can do it like that. Yes, I know. Now, I do realize I don't have enough money here, but I'm going to take out a loan in a second. I'm just going to get it set up. So I need 375. That's probably my best option at this point. All right. So we'll go out and we'll take out our first loan. All right. Take out a second loan. I generally don't worry about taking out loans. I take them out as fast, as much as I can, especially early on and when I need them. Later on, once I get going, oops, I generally don't have any issues with money because, like I said, once I get going, I have lots of trains. I think on the last one I had over 300 rail lines. And with that and so many, they were making me tons of money. I was making, $20 million a quarter. But at that point, the last couple of years, like 68 on, it's really just about getting the passengers and the cities built up. All right, so I need 48,000. So at this point, I kind of just have to wait. Actually, what I failed to do is to put any passenger lines between Atlanta and Nashville, so I definitely need to do that. Get out of here. I don't know why those pop-up things. I thought I turned those off, but apparently I did not. Okay, so let's set up some train lines between Atlanta and Nashville so they can start making me some money. And I'll do... Oop, I don't have enough money. 650. 10,650. Come on, give me some money. Aye. I've maxed out my loan, so at this point, really, it's just about now. I've just got to wait for these trains to start generating cash, and then slowly make my way across the country to San Francisco. And as soon as I make enough to add this second line, once I add that second line, so what I do is I just make two passenger and mail trains between every city between Washington and San Francisco, and they just go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. All right, that does have two train lines, right? Sometimes I talk so much and then I fail to, okay, so that's got two lines. That's got two lines. And you can already see they're making, $3,000 a piece. There should be two lines on this one as well. Yep. Okay. So over time, those do make a decent amount of money. Okay, so we've already made enough money to build our first line there. Let's figure out what that second one is going to be. I need another 48,000. I've only got $3,000, so I definitely don't have enough. So as you can see what I do, I'll go back while I'm waiting on money. Ugh. I try to get rid of all these little pop-ups. So, I go Washington, Charlotte, Atlanta, Nashville, Memphis, go down here. I actually skipped New Orleans. It just is a weird spot. It doesn't let me put in those long train stations. Houston, San Antonio, Odessa, El Paso. Actually, I think I skip Albuquerque too. Tucson, Kingman, LA, and then up to San Francisco. And by the time I get those connected, that's actually enough to get me my 15 cities. It might be 14, and then I also have to build up Chicago, so I'm able to build that one up as well. But this gives me a nice, city-to-city line, and I just set up lots of passenger trains in between there. Now, at this point, I'm literally just waiting for money to be generated for these cities. So at this point, it might be boring for you to sit here and listen to me. So I will go ahead and finish this out, and then I will reconnect with you. Maybe the next video I will start once I get all the way connected to San Francisco, and then I can show you what I do next. Talk to you then.